stage of the mission. Mission.
Focus on the mission. Mission. Mission must continue.
I think we should focus on the progress resulting from the mission.
Start the whole episode off with, I've been meaning to ask you this, bro. Where my killer tape at?
My killer tape.
Does Joey have an agenda?
No, I have stopwatch is what I had.
Oh, stopwatch. Gotcha.
Hey Siri, start a timer for 30 minutes. What's up, everybody? I'm back at it again with the white vans. First things first, funner topic, Carter VI. Lil Wayne dropped his newest album. It is a heated debate, let's put it mildly. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say it's a financial failure. It's got like a few 100,000 streams already, so it's huge. In this day and age when like artists sell like 10,000 copies now.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even pay attention to that, but I don't think the sales are not what they're going for anymore. Streams, ticket sales.
But critically, especially, I don't know so much about the true professional reviews, but I'm saying critically amongst fans and ex-fans and just current hip-hop heads, it's not being heralded as a masterpiece. Let's put it that way. What are you thinking?
I listened to it. I mean, obviously it's a long-awaited album.
Yeah.
With somebody who was prolific as Lil Wayne was, he put out the Carter 1, 2, 3, and 4, I think, in a pretty short amount of time. It took forever to get 5 out, and then took forever to get 6 out. There's plenty of mixtapes, lots of good music in between all the albums. I think Carter VI was definitely the most long-awaited one. Mixed feelings about it. From the standpoint of lyrically, I think he's still Lil Wayne. The double entendre, there's the funniness to it, comedy. There's the ability to put words together, concepts together, things people don't naturally think of, somehow he does. I thought just audibly, so you're more of a beats guy and I'm more of a lyrics guy.
Yeah.
Split us up that way. For me, just being able to understand him was more difficult than before. He's always been Southern drawl, quick at times, slow at times. It's hard to understand him sometimes when he's rapping. You got to pay really close attention. It's always been the case. It was worse on this album.
I don't think the years of substance abuse, that's not shade. I would say a good chunk of the album is him talking about how much drugs he does.
Yeah, admittedly, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Him. But yeah, so that's my take on it. And I guess overall, I would say nothing mind-blowing, but it's good. Not great.
I would put it a little less than that. So for me, lyrically, he's still Wayne. But also lyrically, he's still Wayne. He doesn't really get too into any other deeper subject matter. He does have a song with his son and about his son. And he touches on things here and there, baby mama drama. There isn't a lot of introspection or growth or anything like that. And I think you were saying before, that's hit or miss with artists anyway, right?
I guess my take on that is basically hasn't grown. Right. What I'm trying to say, right? Like he's still the same Lil Wayne he was on Carter 5 and 4 and whatever. Totally true. Like, in fact, if anything, maybe he was better on those other albums. May have regressed. But like, on the one hand, when artists grow, their core fan base usually turns on them and says they're not like they used to be. They're not as good as they used to be. You either don't grow and they say that you need to, or you do grow and they say it's not as good as the last album. And I think Jay-Z's, one of his famous lines was like, "You don't like my new shit, buy my old album." What are you going to do? Kanye West is nowhere near what he was musically when the College Dropout and all of these other albums that are heralded as some of the best of all time dropped. It's not even the same musician. There's people that have followed him all the way through that love him still, and others that are like, I don't even know what the hell he's doing now.
Take up Tyler, right? Tyler started off as a edgelord, purposefully offensive, gremlin type of dude who tried to say whatever he could. The beats were held together by duct tape.
Yeah.
And now dude is a legit artist. Dude crafts like pop songs. For him, it worked out, right? He was able to make that gradual growth, but not every artist is. And a lot of times people are go like, what are you doing? I talk a lot about Griselda. I know West Side Gun, he's known for his rapping over slow boom bap beats. One of the last albums, he tried to basically do a trap album and it got toasted, bro. It got torched. You know what I mean?
You can grow, you have to grow, but if you do, be careful because your fan base won't like it. In my opinion, this album, it's not even as good as the previous albums. So that's why I say it's good but not great, because some of those other albums were actually probably great.
I would say one of my other issues with it is, and this is an issue I've always had with Wayne, is the songs are just way too long. I think Wayne loves the sound of his own voice and he loves his own cleverness, and I don't think he has the filter to be like, stop it. I don't think anyone behind the scenes is telling him to stop it. I've always been a huge fan of 2.5 to 3.5 minutes for a song. Max is pretty solid for a rap song. Protect Your Neck has 9 dudes on it and it's 4 minutes, and it's 4 incredible minutes. You never once say it's going on too long.
Yeah, I think whenever you do something too long, you risk the result. You know what I mean? You could have 3 minutes that are great, the last 2 minutes aren't, and it ruins it. Maybe there's a such thing as too short of a song, but leaving people wanting more and wishing the song was longer is better than the alternative. This is not Rapper's Delight. We don't need 15-minute songs. This isn't Too Short in the 80s. We don't need 5, 6, 7-minute songs. Save it for the next song. Not to get into the Tupac debate, but Tupac, he recorded, I don't know, like 1,000 songs that he never put out. He was very selective with what actually went on albums. I went to college and my major was English, and you write it all,
Man.
and then like your job is to cut it down.
Yeah.
And Wayne doesn't do that, and he should.
The super mean chef and the bear. He just writes down subtract. Do way more and then take 90% of it away. And then you probably have something special.
Yeah.
Same thing with the album itself. It's too long. The thing most people are appalled by is the beats. And I get that because we are in an era of, look, I'm a producer and I'm dope. That's not an ego. I fully believe I'm really good. But this is an era of thousands of really good producers.
Absolutely.
There are endless amazing beats out there now. So for him to have even one trash beat is shocking to me.
Okay, hit me quick. Worst beat on the album that comes to mind right now. What song?
I think the one that everyone says, the peanuts to an elephant.
Okay, so here's the thing for me. Lyrically, that's his best work on the album. So why did he put his best work on the worst beat?
It could be a Nas thing where he felt like, I don't want the beat to compete with me, and I want to show how good I am. The whole start of the drumless beat wave was people like Rock Marciano and other rappers saying, I don't want the beat to overpower me. I want it to be an emotional bed and a layer underneath it, but I don't want people to just hear snapping drums and not pay attention to me. And maybe that was his mentality, but then rap over a drumless beat, I don't know. Yeah. And I actually heard a few remixes of it, and almost any other beat that got put on it was way better, and it made it shine like so much more.
So basically what you're saying to the producers out there is it's a mandate that you go and take this album and rebeat it.
This is a Black Album level opportunity or a Godson level opportunity.
I'm with you on Godson, but the Black Album's beat weren't that bad.
No, Black Album's beats weren't bad at all. That's the one where he picked one beat from all the greatest producers of all time, basically. And so I think it was one of those things of, let me see if I can go head to head with the champions.
Who was it that made the Gray album where they mixed?
Oh, that was Danger Mouse.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, Danger Mouse was there. It was dope.
That was the best remaking of the Black Album.
And then Ninth Wonder did God's Stepson. I'm not even the biggest Ninth fan. I'm not a Ninth hater either. But that was like, holy smokes.
Obviously, I'm a huge fan of hip hop and I was involved in making hip hop. My ears don't hear beats the same way that producers do. My ears hear beats the way rappers do. At one time, I wish that wasn't the case and I wouldn't have admitted that, but I'm 42 and a half years old now.
Right.
Whatever. But Ninth Wonder beats, to me, is 47 versions of the same damn beat.
I would say back in that era, yes. He has grown a lot more than that.
I'm sure he has.
So you had another thing you wanted to talk about, which was...
Well, in the same kind of vein, but it's a little more serious of a topic.
It's another debate, a hot debate.
Another hot debate. I don't know how hot it is because I just discovered this show.
It's not that hot anymore.
So I just discovered this show. It's like this has got 5 seasons, and I never even heard of it. And I like it. I like it a lot, actually. It's called Chosen, right?
Chosen.
Or The Chosen.
The Chosen, I think.
A drama series on Prime. Good acting, really well produced. It's basically the story of the gospel, and it follows Jesus Christ from right before performing miracles all the way through the crucifixion and maybe past it. I'm not sure because I haven't gotten there yet, but I was shocked to see that somebody had done this, knowing that I personally, like yourself, I've read all the Gospels. I just finished Matthew again, literally yesterday. When you read the Gospels, there's so much context that's not there, because how could there be? This show, clearly as a result of trying to take that subject matter and then have a show, otherwise it would be a 15-minute thing, creates all this context around it, maybe put some figures together that will turn 2 into 1, have some backstories that don't exist, obviously dialogue that's not important.
And it's much more natural human dialogue than you would have expected.
It's extremely modernized as far as the dialogue is concerned, and maybe even as far as like just some of the way people interact.
That's also us having modern blinders, where if you've ever seen when they modernize old film from like the 1920s, put in color and they 4K it and stuff, you'll see people are just interacting with each other the exact same way we interact now.
So we're sitting right now at Waterford Park, San Jose. I'm looking at Communications Hill. I'm looking at Amber Grove condo complex. I'm looking at the houses that are built over there. I remember, if I were to sit right here 20 years ago, it looked just like that. But in our minds, years and years past, looks like old photos. Like people just lived in an old photo.
Yeah. Like if things were sepia toned back then.
But anyway, so creative license. The debate, I think, is whether or not an artist, producer, writer, director, and actor, if they have the right to have creative license with something as sacred and as revered as the Gospels, the most important thing of all time.
So in my view, yes, they have the right. But it's very nuanced in that you have the right as long as you don't veer off into the opposite of orthodox, heterodox theology, or even heresy. As long as you stick to the core beliefs and you don't mess with those, the Trinity, the death and resurrection, the fully God, the fully man, all that kind of stuff, I think you're okay. Now, there's going to be some hot debate with when he does the Last Supper, if this is my body means it is my body or is a symbol, that kind of stuff. Okay, there's been debate on that. I believe what I believe, but that part, I think I can allow a little debate. As far as like interactions, human interactions, what day happened when, who knew who talked to who, I think that's absolutely fine. And the reason I say that is two reasons. A, artists have been doing that for centuries. The Renaissance artists, they didn't know what they were painting, so they had to make it up. They had to come up with it. I don't think there was really ever a time when Mary just stood with Jesus like this, staring straight. And the other side of it is the Gospels themselves are not lockstep exactly in with each other. People will call it contradictions. I don't call it that. I call it different perspectives, different views. These were actually human beings. They were not robots, and they were not dictated how they should write things. So each person had their own perspective. So that's why I think it's okay. Where I think it's okay. As long as it's not in the realm of denying the divinity and stuff. And again, this is actually only because they're a Christian production. If they're not Christian, I don't have the right to tell them. I get upset about it. Can I refuse to watch it? That's different. If they're not Christian and they're going to create some sacrilegious, heretical piece of literature or fiction movie, what am I going to do about it? You know what I mean? But if they're Christian, I think we have the right, and not only the right, the responsibility to check it. And I think in this case, in my opinion, it's fine.
There's a disclaimer at the beginning of the series, and maybe at the beginning of every show or season at least, where they say, this is meant to be historically accurate. This is meant to follow the actual writing in the Bible as closely as possible, follow the scripture as closely as possible. Creative license was taken in this way and that way. And of course, I agree with you. I think the best argument that you made was like, if you're an artist painting Mary holding Jesus or Jesus on the cross, there was nobody there painting it at the time. It's all based on your interpretation of what's written down. And so there's creative license taken in every stained glass window in every Catholic and Lutheran church in America. So that's one. And then two is like, that's just the way that it's going to be accessible to people. There's no other way around it. And if you, as a consumer of this, don't realize one of two things. One is that you have to realize that's the case. You have to be smart enough to know that. And it's not that you don't believe the story. It's that you realize that every single detail is not exactly as it was. The other thing about it is that I'm watching it for entertainment. It's coincidental that I just recently read Matthew, and then some of the stuff that I'm reading at the same time and praying about at the same time is literally happening on the screen. It's a coincidence or whatever. But I'm not looking at that to teach me about the gospel. No. And I'm not looking at that for spiritual instruction. What we were talking about the other day when we were talking about Christian music or like Christian rock, Christian rap, I don't listen to it for spiritual nourishment, like to understand our faith better.
Yeah, to glean theology from it or dogma or anything like that.
The guys that are writing those songs and singing those songs may be inspired by the Lord. I would hope so. At the end of the day, they're just like you and me. They didn't go to seminary. They may have studied the Bible, of course, and all that, but if you want that, you got to go pastor, the church, elders, things like that. So my take on it is the creative license part of it is no problem at all. Are they perfect people that are writing it better than most attempts?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was going to say this is the other side of the coin to me. So obviously I'm a Christian and I'm an artist, right? A lot of the times I actually think Christian art, Christian music, Christian movies is way too sanitized, way too cleaned up, way too Hallmark.
Shout out to Kirk Cameron.
And I get it. You're feeding your specific audience. But personally, if you're coming from a literary perspective, Flannery O'Connor was a Southern writer. I believe she was Catholic. Her literature was dark and heavy, but it was also deeply Catholic. Dostoevsky, the Russian writer, it's hard to say. He was deeply Orthodox, and his writing was dark and heavy. And I'm not saying it has to be dark and heavy. I'm just saying I think we need more of that human aspect in Christian art and music and stuff like that.
Not to put anything out there negatively against them, but I think that there is kind of a problem in the U.S. especially is that the Christian faith is either like this perfect husband and wife, perfect couple of kids, perfect house, perfect car, and all this perfection. And then that's what Christianity is supposed to look like. And it's not at all. Christianity is supposed to look like feeding the poor and helping your neighbor and loving your enemy. And most importantly is that we're far imperfect. We're very broken. And without salvation, there's no resolution to that. And those are heavier topics. I just think that there's this idealistic narrative around Christianity. And if you become Christian and you go to the right church, you're going to be rich and you're going to have everything you need and your life is going to be easy. And it's like completely opposite to what the scriptures say.
But the other side of that too is if you go back to the church father like faiths, your Orthodox and your Catholicism, there was a much more of an acceptance of the heaviness of life, of death as a reality. And it's not the strip mall Christianity. And I think we need more of that. If you enjoy a good Hallmark Christian movie, that's great. But I think part of what chases other people away is the fact that they feel like a lot of Christians aren't being honest with the darker sides of themselves. You know?
I don't know, man. This got dark.
Yeah.
But I agree with you though. I think maybe it's a human problem, maybe it's an American problem, but like the pursuit of an easy life instead of the gratitude for the lessons of a difficult one are ingrained in our culture.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Generally speaking, like, man, if you want things to be easier, you have to do a lot of hard stuff. And if you do a lot of hard stuff, it does not guarantee that it gets easier. It does guarantee that you get better.
Was it Bruce Lee who said, don't pray for an easier life, pray to be stronger?
Yeah, it's basically something like, don't pray for an easier life, pray for the strength to endure a difficult one, or something like that. And Bruce Lee, the Christian that he was,
It's the most difficult stage of the mission. Mission.
Focus on the mission. Mission. Mission must continue.
I think we should focus on the progress resulting from